any of you ever feared living in a world where the people that you love walk around soulless, almost resembling non-living creatures? Just imagine your spouse or your sister or a son or a daughter walking around as if everything were normal, yet you look into their eyes and there's something missing, there's no emotion there. And I'm not talking about a zombie apocalypse people. I'm talking about the lifestyle that millions of Americans are experiencing in our country, and they have one industry to thank for this. Think of how many people that you know that are on some kind of prescription medication. Perhaps even some of you may have experienced due to a previous accident. You may be surprised to know that it's actually really quite easy to obtain a prescription drug, and very common. This topic is something that I hold very close to my heart, as I have a brother who's in recovery. And I've had to sit through many Narcotics Anonymous meetings with him and hear stories of how people have destroyed their lives and their actions are just destructive. And it really gave me an insight of how harmful the pharmaceutical industry is. The overall economic contributions of the pharmaceutical industry has brought social change to the world by encouraging people to seek medical assistance for just about any issue, and by skyrocketing the US addiction overdose rate by overprescribing. So let's begin by discussing how one industry came to have so much power. A lot of people these days think that their lives are so difficult, and they even go as far as saying things such as, I hate my life, or, oh, why can't I just be dead? And we tend to have pity parties for ourselves. However, if we think about how much our ancestors have overcome over the past centuries, we wouldn't be feeling so bad for ourselves. Around the time where polio took thousands of lives, penicillin was discovered, and research to produce the substance began. With technology advancing and diseases spreading quickly, pharmaceutical companies began emerging, bringing social change to the world. According to Drug Watch, pharmaceutical industries brought in more than $1 trillion in 2014, and this number is steadily growing. Reminder ads and help-seeking ads are strategies that marketing companies use to try to get patients interested in drugs. Something that comes to mind is Prestique. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the wind-up doll commercial where it's consumers are directly trying to get patients, a normal person just sitting in their couch, to ask their doctor about a drug. The United States and New Zealand are actually the only two countries that allow this direct-to-consumer marketing. And then once the patients get into their doctor's offices, a whole list of problems can come up. Some people may think that just because their doctors are prescribing the medicine that it's safer, when really the trials that occur prior to the medicine being available to the public are completely flawed. I mean, they're supplied by manufacturing companies, and they are able to dispose of any kind of material that's going to bring their numbers down. So now that we're a little bit more familiar of how misleading this industry is, let's discuss a few of the negative repercussions that overproduction has led to in connection with overprescribing. The number of deaths caused by prescription drugs is steadily increasing. And according to the LA Times, drug overdoses have now surpassed the number of deaths caused by automobiles. Here I have a little chart demonstrating. You may be thinking, what does this have to do with overprescribing? Well, when the prices for these drugs increase, people are going to resort to using cheaper drugs, especially because it's very common that they become dependent on them. And they go to the streets and they'll find whatever's cheaper and harmful. This is very common, actually, and addiction doesn't discriminate. Here we have Clay Shepard, who is from Apex, North Carolina, 22-year-old handsome-looking man. He came from a great family, and he lost his battle to addiction at the young age of 22. This was only a few years ago, guys, and this was just right around, like a few roads down from us. It doesn't discriminate. These are people in our community, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see how many people we're losing. It would be absurd for me to say that all drugs are bad. Of course they're not. There are people that are battling with cancer and HIV that they need these prescription drugs. But it's the doctors in the industry that want to profit from it instead of helping their patients. That's what scares me. There's a lot of money to be made out of telling people and convincing people that they're sick. Do any of you use Listerine?
Yeah.
No? Well, Listerine was actually sold initially as floor cleaning product. Yeah. And the creators of Listerine actually decided that they had the perfect cure, and all they needed was a disease. So they made one up, halitosis. So the trick here was to inflate a common condition, such as bad breath, and convince people that it was a problem and that they needed to treat it. There's a huge psychological burden in thinking of ourselves as disease, especially when we're not. Beyond the psychological costs, there are financial costs as well, both personal and social. Treating these illnesses with pharmaceuticals is not cheap. Moreover, no tax-funding healthcare system can sustain the cost of drug treatment for all of these risks, for which the drug companies would like to treat the population. So how do we fix this, guys? Well, it's really simple. We just have to stop being suckers and letting these companies tell us that we need the products that they're offering. We know that physical therapy, yoga, meditation are proven to relieve back pain and anxiety, yet people want to take the easy route instead of taking time and their own effort to recover in the long run. So, today we've learned how the overall economic contributions of the pharmaceutical industry has brought social change to the world by encouraging people to seek medical assistance for just about any issue, and by skyrocketing the U.S. addiction and overdose rate by overprescribing. My intentions are simply to just educate you guys on a topic that I think the public is a little bit naive on. So the next time you think that you want to try something else, just try to remember your blessings and try to remember how fortunate you can be, and really think if you need a drug, because living sure beats the contrary. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Give me 1 second. I just gotta show